One of the great features of my Jackson Kayak Kilroy DT is the factory installed track rails all around this thing. They did a great job in designing this, putting that in the gunnels. You got one on the back here, up the other side, and then there's the one up here in the front. One of the and even in the thwarts, the cross pieces here have the same type of thing, and you can put rod holders and cup holders and GPS mounts and all those kind of things. Something that the industry hasn't yet picked up on for us duck hunters is the idea of some sort of a mountable gun holder, gun rest, if you will. And they've even incorporated a GoPro mount type base already installed on here, but they left out the idea. So first I started looking around and I saw these holes up here. Now these are put in here by Jackson, and those are actual drain holes. If you take on water when you get in and out, you bring a dog that's wet in and out, you're going to take on water. There are no scuppers in this because it's a sit-in type kayak design, so there's no drain plug or anything like that. The only way to get your water out is to turn it over, and the water will naturally flow to these, and that's your actual drain. In the upside down mode, this becomes almost a gutter type system, but that's your downspout drain hole. And my initial thought was that I was going to make my own gun holders, which I'm doing, but I've been thinking it through on how to do it. And I didn't want to cut any holes or drill any holes that I thought, wow, I don't like the idea of having to put a hole there and then it's not quite the right spot or something like that, and I got more of an issue. So I saw those drain holes and I thought, well, I can take one of these nifty little tool holder things that I found at Walmart. I think these were about $1.40, $1.50, something like that a piece. They're very heavy duty, and they're rubber coated. Now I'm not a big fan of shopping at Walmart, so I went to Lowe's to get the same thing, and they had something much similar. It was smaller. It had a plastic coating, not a spongy rubber type coating. And I'm thinking of protecting the gun barrel there. So anyway, my thought was I was going to mount this down inside that hole, maybe make a wood block to screw it into to hold it in that place. But that goes back to the idea that once I use it there, that's the only place you can use it. And if you're sitting in this front seat and we're drifting the river and you got your gun kind of at your side for a right-hand shooter, you'd be sitting here and your gun would be laying here like this with the barrel up there in the holder, drifting down the river. You flush a bird, you lift your gun, you shoot. That works, but it's not the most versatile. So what I decided to do is come up with another idea that makes them more versatile, where if I in the back want to have my gun out but not in a hunting mode, I can build a couple and I can mount them in these tracks. So I started shopping around for hardware. When I made my rod holders, because I went on the cheap, watched a bunch of YouTube videos, made some PVC rod holders using these brass toilet bolts. Well, the downside of these, that brass is soft, and only a couple of times that I've had them in here, and one time out on the water actually, I noticed these things starting to bend. The flanges were starting to bend up, so they're not hard enough to withstand long-term use. Yeah, I can replace them, but inexpensive. But I want something that's a little better than that for my shotgun. I mean, I hunt with the Benelli, and I don't want to risk losing it over the side because the dog jumped out and rocked the boat or something like that. So here we go. We're going to go into a modification mode and start altering some of this hardware I bought. I bought these elevator bolts at Lowe's. These are hardened steel. They come out of that package there. Hillman elevator bolts are 5/16 18 thread by 1 inch long, and then I'm going to put a barrel nut down on top of it, and well, you'll see how it goes from there. Wow, it's warm. I'm sweating. It's pretty humid today. Let's see how this works. What it is, this is basically like a T-bolt now, and that track has an area in there where this should go in. A little tight. It's okay. I can trim off a little more and get exactly what I was going for. So let me do that now. All right, that shoulder there proved to be quite a problem, or an issue. So what I ended up having to do, because the barrel nut itself wouldn't thread down on top of that shoulder enough to make it snug within this rail. So what I had to do is I took some of these, they're shim washers that came in that toilet flange bolt kit that I made these out of. These shim washers, I drilled out the center hole a little bit bigger to a 3/8 so that it would go over that shoulder, and crude but effective, I went with 4 of those on top of there, and now that barrel nut cranks down nice and snug. It's not going to slide. It's in there as solid as I would want it to be. It's not the prettiest thing, and I don't know that it's my final result, but for now I'm going to go with that and move on to the next phase. The next phase is taking one of these, which is a wood screw type setup, and getting that to fit into a machine screw, but be tight enough so that I can still turn it as if it were part of that barrel nut. So I think what I'm going to do is go to my bench grinder, and I'm going to start shaving down this wood screw threads, either with a file or my grinder, until it's a snug fit. And then I'm going to find the length I want on it, cut off the excess, and I'm going to drive it down inside this a barrel nut right here, so that it'll be a press fit. The diameter is right, so it should be able to go in there and hold really tight if I take off most of that wood thread. So hopefully, I think I got this all on in the camera view instead of just me talking. But anyway, I'm going to go do that now. Okay, I've ground that down. I hope you can see this in focus. I've ground that down to where almost all of the wood screw thread is off. This is a hard steel. It's not soft, so I think I've got it at about the right size where I can do a pressed fit, and the threads inside that barrel nut will grab onto what's left of those wood screw threads. Never tried anything like this, and it's kind of rigged, but at this point I'm just experimenting and see what works. I can't find these with a machine thread. If I could, that would have solved the mystery, but anyway, I'm going to try this and see if I can't get this to press in. It's warm out here. Humid. It's supposed to rain this afternoon, this evening. So. Okay, try this as my B plan. That mallet has the right side diameter head, so that might hold that. Probably get some bounce out of this, but alright, I'm going to give it a go and see what happens. Worst case scenario is that I'm out a couple dollars worth of hardware. Wow. It's not quite there. Might be on farther than I want it though, or be able to get it off. Oh boy, it's on there pretty good. Well, let's see if we can just drive it home. A little crooked. Again. halfway to the point I want to go. So. Well, I'm going to say that that's going to be it. Let's see what happens here with my contraption. Hopefully I haven't messed up my other side of my barrel nut threads. Looks like I have a little bit. Well, I have to get a thread chaser out, clean up that thread a little bit because I think I folded it in a little bit. Barrel nuts are softer than the T-bolts. So I can just get that thread to cut through once. Boy, it's awfully hot in there. All right. Nope, it ain't gonna go. It's turning in the wrong end. That didn't work out the way I wanted, but that's why we do research and development. The end result between now, which is July, and hunting season is probably going to be pretty good. It's a matter of getting there. So, B plan. C plan, I guess it is. Okay, so after several failed attempts at my original idea of driving it on there and just forced a press fit, it failed. I broke out my tap and die set and I chased the threads out and cleaned it up. And the barrel nut goes on nice and easy now again, like it should. And I thought, well, while I got that out, let me see if I can cut a thread on this steel shank of this. So I ground it down to where I thought it should be. And cut myself a nice thread on there. Now it looks like it was at an angle, obviously. See if I can get this thing into focus. But I know I've got 2 toolboxes over there full of tools, but I didn't get out my wrench set. So, all right, let's see if this will thread in there. Look at that. I think I'm liking it already. Something ain't right there. Something just ain't right. Last take here. I think I got it. I think I finally made the combination work. What I did is I ran a tap down the barrel and I cleaned the threads on both ends from me hammering and trying to press fit that thing. I messed it up, but it still works. It was minimal amount of cutting to get the threads clean. Then I ran a die down on the shank after I ground the wood screw cutting off to almost a smooth shank. I ran a die down that and put a machine thread to match the barrel. That thread's on there nice. I just put a wrench to it and tightened it up. My shim washers I think are going to work. It's not the prettiest thing, but I think it's functional. Let's go try it on the front of the kayak. Alright, here we go. That's just going to slide in there like that. I loosen it up. Slides in. Spin that around to tighten it. Voila! There we have a gun rest. Now picture yourself in the front seat, drifting down. A couple mallards come out from a tree along the bank of the river. All you got to do is have your hand on your breech end of the gun and lift it up out of there, and you're shouldering and shooting. So I think that's a success. Still a crude one. I've got another one to do, and I'm not going to tape it. I'm going to do what I did on this one and probably expedite the whole process. Paint them up a little bit. That rubber, this is a rubber coating, and I'm real happy about that because that's going to help protect the gun barrels as they lay in there. Now yes, that's adjustable to the point where it'll go over here, but you could also put one on this side over here and have it basically laying across your legs and on your lap, and that would kind of help keep your gun from falling out into the water. So to the manufacturers of all the yak gear and all that stuff, it's time to step up. I would have paid 20 bucks to have one of these instead of $3 worth of material and a couple hours worth of sweat and labor. So you guys need to step it up. You put the tracks out, you're catering to all the fishing guys, and that's all good because I'm going to be doing that too. But my primary focus on this is going to be for duck hunting. So come out with some of the accessories we need, and let's make it a versatile market, because there's a lot of guys out there doing this. You guys just haven't tapped that resource. Thanks for watching. Final product for now. I'll use them and see how they work. If they don't work quite the way I want them, I'll decide what changes need to be made. But it looks like that's a wrap.